Okay, let's talk about polyphony, otherwise known as polyphony. Polyphony is two notes being played at the same time, often referred to as a chord, but it also applies to any time that you're maybe accidentally have two notes going at once. So anytime there's more than one note playing, we're using polyphony. And here's your kind of your standard, let me mute this bass first. Kind of your standard, whatever kind of chord progression I would throw in a song. Let's see what we got here. And so if we wanted to get out of polyphony land and move into monophony, I don't even know what you call that. Polyphony, I don't know. Anyway, then all right, so that's obviously monophony. Now, if we do something like that, where they have an overlap, this area right here is now the land of polyphony. So we have tools that will help us solve this problem. We're assuming that maybe I held one note longer than I wanted to, or we're going to assume this was an accident at this point here. Well, Cubase has a function called restrict polyphony, and I would imagine all DAWs sequencers have it. I keep it as a shortcut. I push R, and it says, okay, if we're going to restrict polyphony, how many voices do we want to allow? And each note playing at one time is a voice. And I will say just one. And then there we are, magically. The second this new note here starts, shut up. The second this new note starts, that guy shuts up. So instead of having that conflict like we did before, which sounded like this, we highlight those, use my magic shortcut, and we now have this. Pretty cool. And actually the effect is kind of not illustrated as well as I like because I'm using my preset that has that like incredibly long modulated reverb, but that's another story, I guess. Okay, and then also something to think about too is a lot of basses, for one, bass almost never sounds good with the chords if it's real deep. That's a higher thing, more of a jazzy or certain kinds of rock thing. But a lot of synth bass, your Moogs and things like that are monophonic, which monophony, which means they can only play one note at a time. They don't have the capacity to play two voices, two notes. So if you were to have overlap in a bass track, the results are almost always deadly. And so all you have to do, highlight them, and in my case, my magic shortcut, and there we go. So be aware of that. If you find a synth that doesn't play well with chords, it may not have polyphony engaged, or it may just not have that option at all if it's staying staying true to the vintage confines. All right, guys, thanks. Bye.